Hello friends, this is Dr. John WorldPeace JD, the only global advocate for peace and world peace and the only advocate for Jesus Christ that Jesus spoke of in the New Testament. Jesus said, "The advocate whom the Father will send in my name will teach you all things and remind you of everything I have told you." That's John 14:26. This text of this is on the bottom of this video and also posted on Facebook and on my blog, etc. This commentary is about the criminal preachers, two of them in Albuquerque, Skip Heitzig and Steve Smothermon. Skip is with the preacher of Calvary Church, and Smothermon is the preacher of Legacy Church. It's not by accident that God sent me to Albuquerque from Houston, where I lived all my life, in 2011. My commentary is about criminal lawbreakers, Steve Smothermon and Skip Heitzig, two false and fake preachers in Albuquerque who are not familiar with the teaching of Jesus. Give to Caesar what is Caesar, and to God what is God. In other words, follow the laws of your countries. In America, the law is secular, meaning unlike Iran with a designated religion running the government, there's a very bright line separation between church and state in the United States. Steve Smothermon and Skip Heitzig are false preachers who broke the secular criminal law with their Christmas Eve services. People will die by those who attended the event and took the virus out into the city of Albuquerque. We will never know how many people their arrogance will kill with the coronavirus spread due to these events. But God knows. The false preachers and all of the other followers who attended Skip and Steve's illegal gathering own the deaths and pain and suffering from their attendance. Need to be prepared for Jesus' condemnation after their deaths. God will have a record of those who died as a result of these false preachers and those who follow them. No preacher in the world has come up with a solution to the coronavirus. I have given you a solution below. Ask and receive, seek and find, knock and enter, embraced by a critical mass of the world human society, will in fact end the coronavirus. I've written and published a book on Amazon titled The Third Millennium, Second Reformation of Christianity. I also have a significant summary website about this book at same name. The link is below. This commentary references the website, which references my book, which is 250 pages. My book answers all the questions you have had about Christianity, all the questions that your preachers cannot and will not answer, answers you've been seeking all your life. Here's the bottom line. Christianity has reached a point where the false teachings can no longer be tolerated, and Christianity is transforming from corporate Christianity to a spiritual Christianity based on the book of Jeremiah 31:33-34 in the Old Testament and the book of Hebrews 8:10-12 in the New Testament, which both say the same thing. Being, the Lord said, I will put my laws into their minds, and I will write them on their hearts. And I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall not teach everyone his fellow citizen and everyone his brother, saying, Know the Lord. For all will know me, from the least to the greatest of them. For I will be merciful to their iniquities, and I will remember their sins no more. And friends, what this means is you don't need preachers, priests, nuns, holy men. God has put his laws in your minds and in your heart. Now, what does it mean? It means that if you want to know God and Jesus, all you have to do is look into your hearts and minds through study, prayer, and meditation. To follow anyone is to enter into darkness. All preachers teach what is in their heart, and more often than not, what is there is darkness. Jesus says, take the log out of your eye first. Preachers take the log out of your eye and then retire from preaching, become just one of the gang, and study in these small study groups that I'll tell you about in a minute. Here is what Jesus said to the rich man who wanted to follow him. Go sell all you have and give it to the poor, and then come and follow me. Now, friends, you know no preacher that has followed these instructions. And those who preach the teachings of Jesus are therefore all false, because none of them met the standard. Sell everything, give it to the poor, then come follow me. You have these preachers that make millions talking about Jesus who had nothing. Wake up. Jesus said, if the blind follow the blind, they both fall into the ditch. Well, all false preachers are blind. And if you follow them, you're also blind and headed into darkness. The above verses say to look into your hearts and minds to find God. No one needs to teach what is in your heart with regards to God and Jesus. I have a website I wrote a long time ago, The Purple Order of Spiritual Christians. It's about a Christianity that's made up of small groups talking, teaching, learning from each other. No certified preachers. This is about abandoning churches and gathering outside the Christian bureaucracies and study the scripture. God says they're in your heart and mind. Now let me make this clear. I believe in Jesus and I believe in the red letter teachings of Jesus, but I'm not a card-carrying member of any organizations and definitely no religious bureaucracy of which Christianity is one of them. The original teachings of Jesus were Gnostic teachings about searching your hearts and minds for truth. Peter and Paul applied church bureaucracy to the spiritual teachings of Jesus, and that Christian bureaucracy has come to the end of its days. Let me tell you why. The Pope enables a pedophile sickness in the Catholic Church that is so entrenched it can never be rooted out. And the Pope preaches a global message of subordination of all women. Both of these are an unquestionable abomination of God and Jesus. I hear people say they are saved. Well, friends, here's the truth about that. If you profess your sins, profess your belief in Jesus, and become baptized, and then go out and do dark and evil deeds, you were not saved. You lied. You're not saved. If you want to get on the right side of God and Jesus, you have to study, meditate, pray almost moment to moment. The earth dreamscape is very destructive and dark, and the temptations are great. You are not going to save yourself without a lot of work and a lot of praying for help. Going to church for a few hours a week and saying you're saved, you're not saved. These false preachers tell you join me and pay your 10% and I have a ticket to heaven. Friends, there are over 200 denominations of Christianity which tell you there is absolutely no truth about Jesus. There's 200 disagreements. So avoid these pits of darkness. It is better you look for answers within your heart and mind and gather in small groups outside the domination of preachers who talk about Jesus, who own nothing and take your money for their personal use. And in some cases, like Kenneth Copeland, claims a net worth of $1 billion with a giant smile. That's a billion and a B. Kenneth Copeland and Joel Osteen and their kind are an abomination to God. You serve God or money, one or the other, not both. I have lived in Albuquerque about 10 years, and I have been to the churches of Steve Smothermon, Legacy Church, and Skip Heitzig, Calvary Church. These are criminals who held large Christmas Eve gatherings of people without masks and without social distancing in the middle of the corona pandemic, which is out of control. Why'd they do it? Because their churches are going broke. Why are they broke? Because God has judged them. The same way God put an end to the reign of Donald Trump with the coronavirus. Since the coronavirus appeared, nothing has gone right for Donald Trump. In 3 weeks, he will be out of the White House. Thank God. I went to Legacy Church about 5 times and was completely turned off by Steve Smothermon. I went to Calvary Church for almost 2 years. I wrote Skip several long letters like this email, and he did not respond except one time. In the letter, I said I was with God before I was born with an agenda to do exactly what I'm doing. I said I did not need to be saved because I always believed in Jesus. Skip said in one of his sermons, the next week I think, that he did not trust anyone who said they talked to God before they were born. What a dark soul. He would not say this to my face. And in fact, I have never met him face to face. You have to buy his books when they first come out and pay for a signature to see Skip, or pay to be in his Jesus college he just set up. About 2 years ago, I went to the opening of the most recent of Skip's annex locations. I was accosted by 6 rent-a-cops and 2 cops with guns who I assume were off-duty cops. The confrontation was about my pack that I offered them to look into it, and they refused. Their orders were to keep me out of the event. I left the church, kicked the dust off my shoes, as Jesus said to do, and never returned. Skip Heitzig is a big fan of Franklin Graham, the son of Billy Graham. I respect Billy Graham and attended his revivals in Houston and went down after he spoke to affirm my faith at 16. This is what I say about Franklin Graham. Nothing grows in the shadow of an oak. He'll never be what his father was. Same for Skip's son, Nate. My goodness, no way. Franklin Graham, among other things, is a white racist, and Skip is his lifelong buddy. As the prophet Elijah challenged the priest of Baal, I, as the advocate for Jesus Christ, challenge all Christian preachers in the world to set a time and place to debate me. One at a time, all at a time, I don't care. It would be best organized by one of the mainstream TV news outlets, and I will show up. I have no church, I have no organization, I had no members or followers. I live a minimal existence with no assets of consequence other than my business, books, poetry, art. I've not owned an automobile for 6 years. I have a small motorcycle. I have been in 5 significant relationships in my 72 years, but I have been without a relationship and celibate for 6 years. None of these preachers can do that. I do not know if that will continue. I am open to a relationship, but not looking. I have 4 children with the first official wife, none of which do I speak to. Children are of your body, not of your soul. And some people are lucky and their children and their personalities match. Mine do not. I advocate the teachings of Jesus Christ. These are the red letter words in the New Testament, with the exception of the red letter words in the book of Revelation, a false book. Why is the book of Revelation false? Many reasons. Let me give you 2. 1, Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this earth," over and over and over again. Jesus says all this throughout the New Testament. The book of Revelation says Jesus will set up a kingdom on earth. Totally contrary to the red letter words of Jesus. Nobody even knows who wrote the book of Revelation. A lot of denominations say it was John the disciple. It was not. Jesus said, "Ask and receive, seek and find, knock and enter. If you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Nothing will be impossible for you. If you believe in me, you will do the works I do, and greater works than these will you do." What this means is that we script our future, the future of the groups we join, and the nations of which we are citizens. From the first breath you took, you made decisions, and you are where you are today because of all those decisions. It means the future is pliable and flexible. That's what Jesus is saying. The book of Revelation says the future of the earth and the world human society is set in stone. And here again, Jesus says the future is what you scripted, and the book of Revelation say it's set in stone. You can't change it. Just wait and pay preachers to scare you with their book of Revelation apocalypse. This is totally contrary to what Jesus says. No one's ever challenged me on this. I say again, Christianity and the world human society are in process of transition from religion to spirituality. It began with the burning of Notre Dame in Paris on April 2019 between Palm Sunday and Easter Sunday. This was a God event. The coronavirus is a God event. If the world human society comes together, then it can script the end of the coronavirus and peace on earth. The actions of Donald Trump are about America first and divisiveness. American democracy is exclusive and elitist. Jesus is democratic and all-inclusive. You can't be a Republican and a Christian. Donald Trump hates Jesus. Why? Because he and the Republican Party attack Democrats as liberal. Jesus said, "Love one another." This is the most radical liberal teaching of any human being who's ever lived on this planet. In a word, Trump hates Jesus and condemns liberals daily. I will continue to rise. I wait for the false preachers to accept my request for a debate. As the prophet Elijah said to the priest of Baal, "I'm the only servant of God." I say to all the false preachers, I'm the only advocate for Jesus Christ. Let those that have eyes and ears see and hear. It's December the 28th, 29th. Thank you for your consideration.